Alright guys, here we go again. So, I put the battery in. I was explaining about the battery. You hook up the battery. Always make sure before you turn your receiver on that this is down. And I personally keep the trim all the way down. Or transmitter, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get yelled at for all this. Alright, you put the battery on, your little receiver light's flashing. Let's see if I can show that to you. It's flashing. You turn your controller on, again make sure this is down, and I put my trim all the way down. Turn it on, it'll link up. You'll hear it click. Once it's connected, that little red receiver light goes to steady red, as well as your light on top of your controller, or transmitter, I'm sorry. I always check to make sure my little rotor head here, the swash plate goes up and down and everything's working right, which it is. Now, ooh, you got a piece of pie. This will be in your body, again your fuselage, and I explained on the other video, and when I put this back together I'll show you again, but depending on where this receiver is set on your helicopter, you'll either use this little hole in the window to get to it, or the one right behind the window to get to it. The extent adjustment, from my experience and from what Bully was explaining, that adjusts your pitch limits in your rotor head. Again, it's the bottom adjustment, a little 4-way screwdriver. You'll see it. I'm going to try and get it up here. Wait a minute. I did this the last time too. I was showing you the wrong servo link. I do believe it is this one. Let me see here. Yeah, it is. It's this back one. So it would be from the rear of the helicopters. If you were sitting in it, it would be the left rear servo. And adjusting that, you turn this thing very small, very late turns, and it adjusts, and it'll get to a limit and you'll actually see the ball dropping, and get it up, and just before it drops, leave it there. That gives you your most motion. Or am I saying that backwards again? I hate this crap. I think I'm lying to you. I don't know, I'd have to have it flying and mess with it to do it. It may be when it drops that gives you your most motion up and down, which will control your pitch. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I may be wrong. And then your sensitivity adjustment, that's basically a proportioning adjustment, and what that does is it adjusts the speed of your tail rotor, actually driven by this motor here. It adjusts the speed so that when it almost acts like your rudder trim, but I always set it, the rudder trim on your transmitter, to the center, the slider here. I set it to the center, and then as you're picking it up and flying it, you'll see if it goes right, you have to adjust it one way. If it goes left, you adjust it another. And try and get your trim adjustment on your transmitter centered, and then try and get this thing as centered as possible by that little adjustment. And then for your fine adjustment, you use your trim. That's all the trim tabs are for, is to get the fine adjustment, the finite, so you're not constantly putting rudder stick input into it, or pitch. You know, you have the same thing on your pitch. You know, your right and left slider is down here, and your forward and reversed motion is right here. That's your trim adjustments for both. When I'm setting these up, I have all my trim set to center, because you want to So when you get the helicopter up in the air, if you get all your adjustments right here, that thing should pretty much hover. It may drift a little bit forward, back, and that's where your trim adjustments come into play. It's that real finite adjustment, and you don't want to slide them all the way over one way or the other. There's a little bit of click that you feel in that adjustment, and one click really makes a big difference. So again, fly it, play with it, you'll figure it out. So now that you know where these adjustments are and what them adjustments do, let's get to adjusting your swash plate and leveling it up. These servo links are what actually the two biggest links in the bottom of the fuselage. Like, you barely see them sticking up out of the fuselage when it's all together. Those are the links that's going to level up your swash plate. Now, I've already got this one leveled up pretty much, as you can see. It looks like it's leaning forward a little bit now, yeah, which it is. So I'll show you how to, you know, if you got a lot of forward pitch, I'll show you how to do this. And usually, and again guys, use the proper tools. I'm over here using a pair of needle nose trying to get these ball links off, and I got the ball link pliers right here. Yes, sir. Real handy little tool in that EXI kit. I don't know if you can see, you know, how they are, but you stick these in on your ball link, and I stick this up against the swash plate side, and again it pops it right off. Now, I had a lot of, this swash plate was sort of leaning, if you're looking at the helicopter like this, it was leaning like this, which means my back link, my servo link, is too high. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it, oh, that's the lie too. If you, this swash plate, both ends, the links, these servo links, it's a dog bone type setup, and both ends turn. So you want to hold the rod and turn your ball link end in. This one seems like it's bent a little bit too. Since I don't have no more, it doesn't look like I have any more adjustment in this top part, what I'm actually going to do is turn the whole link in. By the looks of the way that thing looked, I'm going to say 2 or 3 full turns should get me about level. And then you snap it back on there, and you see how it looks. And it's still a little bit forward. So I'll just take my ball link removal tool, stick it back in there. Pop it back off. And I'm going to turn it down probably 2 more times, 2 full times. And now it's leveled up. My pitch link is leveled up too. Could stand to go a little bit down, so I'll do that in the next one. I'll be right back.